All right, what is going on, Laker fans? Thank you very much for tuning in to the post game show here on Hoops Talk. I'm Alan Slewa, Lakers post game show. We're talking about the Lakers' loss to the Detroit Pistons, so we got a lot of shit to get into. To be honest with you, I appreciate you guys hanging out. This is it's an interesting one. I gotta be honest with everybody. This is not going kind of the way I thought it was going to go for the Lakers. They start the season out 3-0. They look like they're a team in the Western Conference that could be a problem. It didn't take very long for things to kind of churn and to change, and that's where the Lakers are sitting right now. So we're going to break it all down. We're going to spend a lot of time tonight talking about kind of where this Lakers team is right now, the direction that they're going in. They look old. They look old. They don't look fresh at all. They look like a team that, whether it's Anthony Davis kind of hobbling with some type of injuries up and down the floor, whether it's individual players that don't look like they're playing to their potential, or maybe we're overestimating them, or it's a bench that literally doesn't exist for the Lakers right now. I don't see the Lakers. I don't know what's going to change on their bench other than trying to get some guys healthy, but the Lakers bench looks awful. I was, as I was kind of prepping for this and putting together some notes, and I'm listening to Stu Lance, I'm listening to Billy Mack. Right before I started, I was listening to the beginning of Spectrum, and I was listening to James Worthy, and kind of everyone had the same tune, and I felt it as well while I was watching the game. I'm like, this is the Pistons? Yeah, I don't watch Pistons basketball very often. I'm not sitting here trying to see or break down what the Detroit Pistons are in the NBA. I did look before the game and was just curious because the way the Pistons started out the game, the way they looked, I'm like, wait, is Detroit better than I thought? All right, who have Detroit beaten so far this year? And I'm looking at their schedule. I'm like, all right, nothing really impressive. They started the season, they lost to Indiana, they lost to Cleveland, they lost to Boston. Really tough schedule to start off. Then they lost at Miami. Their first win was against Philly, but it seems like everybody's beating Philly right now without Embiid and without Paul George. They lost to the Knicks. And then they won yesterday at the Brooklyn Nets, and I don't know if that gave them some confidence. I have no idea. But that Pistons team looked like a team that maybe can be a little bit of a headache in the Eastern Conference this year. What I mean by that is maybe they can compete or fight for, by the time you get to February or March, they're still in the mix for a play-in game, something like that. A lot of young players, a lot of talented players, and all of them looked very comfortable going up against the Lakers. This is something that I talked about in that game against the Detroit or against the Toronto Raptors. One of the issues that the Lakers have, especially when they're playing against some of these young teams, is you got to basically sustain a certain amount of energy for 48 minutes because the Pistons got nothing to lose. The Raptors a couple nights ago have nothing to lose. These teams have nothing to lose. And all their coach is basically asking them to do is, can you just out hustle the Lakers? You don't have to be as talented as LeBron James or as talented as Anthony Davis or some of these other players that the Lakers have. They got some really young talent, by the way. The Pistons do. But I think I'm sure one of the messages that JB Bickerstaff has given to a lot of his players is just outwork them. If you can outwork and out hustle the Lakers, you might walk away with a win. And tonight they did walk away with a win. 115 to 103, the final score. Pistons over the Lakers. How about this? Rebounding. The Pistons 55 to the Lakers 37. They had 10 more offensive rebounds for the Lakers, from the Lakers, which obviously is going to give them second chance points. I mean, 55 to 37. I heard it on the broadcast when I was watching it. If you were watching this game, you saw it with your own eyes. Every loose ball went to the Pistons. That's not X's and O's. That's not, well, JB Bickerstaff outcoached JJ Redick. No. What that is I got a group of guys, 5, 6, 7, 8 guys. How many guys he's going to go deep on that on the Pistons, the starting lineup and that bench? I got a group of guys that I'm teaching how to hustle and fight because they're too inexperienced to go out there and win 50 games this year. But I'm going to teach them how to hustle. I'm going to teach them how to fight. Then you got a Lakers team on the other side that is probably walking a game against the Pistons. You beat the Toronto Raptors and really controlled that game, even though that game got a lot closer in the second half than it should have. But I guarantee you the Lakers were walking into Detroit the same way I was walking into this game. I'm sure the same way Laker fans were walking into this game, and they were saying to themselves, oh, this is going to be an easy win. It's going to be an easy W. It's the Detroit Pistons. Come in, grab a W, and then you got that game coming up in Memphis on Wednesday, and you got a chance to go 3-2 on this road trip. Instead, you lose to the Pistons. Pistons pretty much controlled it. I mean, by the time the first quarter was done, Detroit was already up by 11. By the time you got to halftime, Detroit's already up by 14, and that's Bron hitting a three right at the end of that second quarter to bring it down to 14. It was 17. And even though the Lakers made a run, they outscored the Pistons by 8 in that third quarter. Even though the Lakers were cutting it down, it was getting closer and closer, and you thought, hey, maybe the Pistons will just fold. Didn't it feel like that's what the Lakers were hoping for? It wasn't about the Lakers winning the game. It was more about, hey, are the Pistons, because they're inexperienced, because they're super young, because they're not in predicaments or situations like this all the time, because you have a lot of players that don't have the amount of experience that the Lakers have, will the Pistons just fold? And they never did. Every time they needed a big bucket, they got it, whether that's from Ivy, whether that's from Cade Cunningham. That's a smooth freaking basketball player in the NBA. If you're a Pistons fan, and I'm sure there isn't many on here, you got a young stud in Cade Cunningham, and they got some other players. That's not the only player that they have on that team that certainly has some potential. Jaden Ivey's a nice player. They got some really young talent there in Detroit, but this was not about the Pistons. I'm actually, let me take that back. I'm going to give the Pistons a lot of credit because they deserve it. They genuinely deserve the credit. But the bottom line is, if you're a Lakers fan here, you're not trying to give credit right now. I heard the chants. This happened again today. We want Bronny. I don't know if this is going to be the theme going around everywhere, but it seems like if you got a nice, comfortable lead on the Los Angeles Lakers and you're at home and you know you're going to get the W, all of a sudden your fan base is going to say, the hell do we got to lose? We already got the W. We want Bronny. And that's unfortunately for the Lakers right now in a few of these games. Some of these fans are getting their wishes. I know they didn't get it today, but what they got was more important, which is a victory for the Detroit Pistons. They got to feel a lot better about themselves. And that's an impressive win from Detroit. But I'm gonna spend more time talking about what the Lakers aren't doing than what the Pistons did. But I'll do a little bit of both here. Before I get into team stats and I start getting into individual players, I didn't get a chance to talk about this too much. But this morning I was doing my morning show, and it came up while I was talking about it came up while I think I was doing the postgame show against the Toronto Raptors, and I started mentioning it. We got a problem on the bench. There's a real problem on that bench. Listen, I'm going to fall into the same category as everybody else. If you were excited about Max Christie, I'm going to go ahead and take a step back on that one because he does not look comfortable out there. Do you know how many minutes, just to show you how confident J.J. Redick was in Max Christie tonight? He played 4 minutes. You could sit here and make a case, and you could say, you know what, Al, how's this guy going to get comfortable if you're only playing him 4 minutes? They need production right now. J.J. Redick is trying to win basketball games. J.J. Redick is trying to make sure that they don't go 1-4 on this 5-game road trip to start the season. It's J.J. Redick's responsibility to get W's. But if you had confidence in Max Christie, pump the brakes on that one, because that's 2 straight years to start off the season. We fed ourselves this Max Christie hype machine, this public relations where we all felt we're the ones hyping him up. I don't even know if the Lakers are hyping him up. I feel like we're the ones hyping him up. Max Christie played 4 minutes tonight, had 0 points, was -6 in the plus-minus. Jackson Hayes, I'm not too concerned about Jackson Hayes because I think he has a specific role, and if you're expecting something from him, I don't really think we're going to get too much from him. Gabe Vincent, 18 minutes for the Lakers. Gabe Vincent had as many points and as many shot attempts as me, as you, as everyone else on this stream, and as every other Laker fans that watched the Pistons beat the Lakers tonight. He didn't take a shot. He didn't make a shot. And his final stat line was 0 points, 1 steal, and 1 turnover. Those were my stats in high school. That's basically, if you wanted to find me at Granite Hills High School out here in El Cajon, you look up Sliwa, It's a very similar stat line to what Gabe Vincent had. 0 points, 1 turnover. Gabe Vincent's getting paid $11 million a year to be a productive role player off that bench for the Lakers. I'll keep going down the list. I mean, Cam Reddish got 14 minutes tonight because JJ Redick is he's trying something new and just trying to see, can I get a spark from anybody? And seeing actually Cam Reddish in there, Cam played predominantly that third quarter, ended up playing 14 minutes total. He was plus 10. To be honest with you, he was one of the positives that the Lakers had in tonight's game. All right, I'm going to cut myself off here real quick because I want to play, at least get the beginning here. JJ Redick is talking right now. Let's hear what he has to say about the Lakers loss.
To get back, even after a miss was better. I thought our physicality was better. Our shifts were better at times in the second half, just, loading the basketball. But, they started the game and played that way for 4 quarters, just really physical on both ends. And we matched that in the second half. And it took us a bit in the first half to match that level of physicality.
You have a ton of time with your group before you joined us. Just what was the general demeanor, and how do you think they're taking it, being 1-3 on this trip so far?
We're all disappointed.
Right there. So we actually caught the end of JJ Redick on that presser right there. Listen, I don't have an excuse for the Lakers tonight. And listening to JJ Redick kind of talk about that second half, and he was talking about, hey, if you see, we kind of match their physicality better in the second half, match their energy in the second half better. Well, there's 2 halves. So if you dig yourself a hole, down 14, down 17, what's the biggest lead that the Pistons had in tonight's game? They were up by 20 at one point. Lakers' biggest lead they had was a 3-point lead. Obviously, that would have been early. There really is no excuse to say, well, we didn't just match their energy. There isn't an excuse for another team to have that many offensive rebounds and that many more rebounds than you, 55-37. That's effort. That's if the Lakers are just going to depend on Anthony Davis is a really good player, he's going to carry us. Hey, LeBron, even though he's about to turn 40, can still put up almost a triple-double every single night. Hey, between Austin Reeves and D'Angelo Russell and Rui Hachimura, there's enough talent there in that starting lineup to kind of help out from a role player perspective. If that's what they're depending on, it's going to be a long season. It's going to be a long season for the Lakers. We know how much talent's in the Western Conference. We know as the season progresses, it's not like Anthony Davis is going to get any fresher. It's not like LeBron's going to get any fresher. And it doesn't sound like, from the looks of it, from the Lakers bench perspective, basically what you're asking for now is Jared Vanderbilt's got to come back and be really impactful. Christian Wood's got to come back and be very, very impactful as well. Because the 4 or 5 guys that are sitting on that bench right now, none of them to me look like guys that you can look at and say, I got an unbelievable amount of confidence in this player. None of those players look like that. And I don't know if it's going to change. Maybe it changes. Maybe it doesn't. I don't have an answer for you. But that JJ Redick, just that little clip that we were listening to right there, tonight I think will be the first time that I listen to JJ Redick for just a quick little second there. And I will put most of that on your head coach. You got to get these dudes ready to go to start that game. You can't be down against the Detroit Pistons and give up 33 points in that first quarter against the Pistons, followed by a second quarter of 34 points. If you're giving up 67 points in the first half to the Detroit Pistons, how are you walking away with a win on the road? I don't care who you're playing. You could be playing the Pistons. You could be playing the Celtics. You could be playing the Sacramento Kings, another team that's got kind of a high-powered offense. You could pick any team in the league, but especially the Pistons, because they're young, they're inexperienced, they're trying to figure out on the fly. Now all of a sudden they got a lead to work with. Now all of a sudden they could play loose. Now all of a sudden those guys are making the extra pass. That's just bad basketball. And the piece that I hate the most is the effort part of it. The effort part is the one that that part I just don't have, I can't do anything with effort. I can't come on here and tell you guys that, well, if only they executed a little bit better here, or if only they boxed out on this possession. I can't do anything with effort. how do you do a post-game show if you're coming down to saying, well, it looked like that team just tried a lot harder? Well, that's not exactly an analysis there. That's just a fact. And unfortunately, Lakers were on the other side of that. All right, let's get to some of your comments here, and then we'll keep going. And I still got to get into individual players and everything else. Lakers bench. I get more production lying on my couch than the Lakers bench. Embarrassing. You and I. I mean, I literally had the same stat line as Gabe Vincent. That bench is a problem. Lakers have a true problem at the bench. I was reading some comments. I think it was after, who'd Lakers lose? I think they lost to Cleveland, right? They got their asses kicked by Cleveland. I came on, I did the post-game show. I was looking at some of the comments, and some guy went on there and said, this is why I can't stand Laker fans. Look how animated I was in a post-game show in game 4 of the regular season. All right, you might be right. Maybe against the Cavs, that was the case, but against the Pistons, come on now. I'm going to say this again. I've already said it, and I'll say it again. I had no idea the Pistons were that talented. I had no idea that the Pistons were that well coached, and I think they're on the up and up. But I was not expecting that tonight. So if you'd have told me that they just played the Celtics or the Cavs, maybe it's a little bit different of a story. But I think what I'm starting to notice here over these last couple of games, there are glaring weaknesses that the Lakers have. And as this super chat is being pointed out here, and by the way, I really appreciate the super chat. Thank you for doing that. The Lakers bench is one of those glaring issues. All right, let's see what we have here. Let's see. Pathetic showing by us. Backcourt couldn't be more mid. I haven't even got into, to be honest with you, I didn't even know what the final stat line looked for some of these players. I'm going to get into that. I kind of purposely haven't got into it yet. It's just because there were so many other things to talking about. And I think I felt like I had to kind of get all over the bench. Tired of this team. Adele, bro, you can't be already tired. It's November 4th. I mean, if you're tired now, what the hell am I going to be? I'm going to be talking about them all season long and in the off season. Don't be tired. Just call it a bad day. This team is a joke. Damn, Slee. Dog, y'all said JJ was the second coming of Pat Riley. I didn't say that, but it's a fair comment to throw out there right now. Let's see what else we got here. Muse, Lakers are soft. It's just that simple. Told y'all ain't no damn Coloco about to help with it. By the way, we could use him. You might be right, but I'd rather have him than not have him. Why don't we play Dalton and Cam? That could be happening. I think at this point, what you're probably going to see with this Lakers team right now is JJ Redick trying different things, trying different lineups, trying different ways to see if he can get some kind of spark. But you're going to need something off that bench. There's no team in the NBA that's going to have success in the NBA without a freaking bench. That's not possible. You got to have depth. And I'm not even talking about championship level. If it's championship level, now it's a different level of depth. Go look at any team that the Lakers have used to go have any success. Kobe and Shaq days, Kobe and Pau days. Go back to the Showtime Laker days. Go to LeBron and Anthony Davis in 2020. Do you know how deep that team was? Outside of LeBron and Anthony Davis, it was Dwight Howard, it was JaVale McGee, it was Danny Green, it was Rajon Rondo, it was Kyle Kuzma, it was KCP. I'm missing guys. I know I'm missing guys. Key players to that team. There were so many good players on that team. You went 10 deep. You have to have a bench if you have success in the NBA. Again, I'm not even talking about championship quality. I'm just talking about an actual playoff team. LeBron just looks old. There are plenty of times where that is the case. Cade gave it to LeBron. Cade was given it to Austin Reeves there towards the end, too. It looks like he was just staring at him the entire time, telling everybody, get the hell out of the way. Look who I got on me. Dude's a smooth player. Very, very, very smooth player. If I missed some of your comments, my apologies. There's a lot coming in, so I can't really get all of them right now. I'm going to keep an eye out here on Spectrum. I want to see if LeBron or AD talks. I do want to pull one of those. All right, let me keep going here. Let me start getting into some of the individual plays. Only real things I'll pay attention to on the team stats. Lakers took 25 threes. Pistons didn't even shoot well from the three-point line. Lakers shot 36%. Pistons were 8 of 34. 23.5% from the three-point line. Lakers still living at the free throw line, took 27 free throws, 74%. The rebounding, I told you, just awful. 55 to 37, 17 offensive rebounds for the Detroit Pistons. Give them all the credit in the world. They deserve it tonight. They really, really do. Fast break points, give the Lakers advantage there. And then, like I said, a 20-point lead was the largest lead. All right, let's break down some of the starters here. Anthony Davis had a couple moments there where he was limping around. It's 2 straight games, whether it was against the Toronto Raptors where he spent a lot of time sitting. Actually, you could call it 3 straight games. This happened also against the Cleveland Cavaliers. But Anthony Davis looks like he's looking like Anthony Davis, which is a player that a lot of times you see him grimacing. A lot of times he's on the ground. There was a specific moment Lakers had to call timeout, and he kind of held his heel. So I'm trying to see if we can hear from Anthony Davis, and I think we'll get a chance here in just a second. But let's see what he's got to say, see if he talks at all about his health. So let's take a quick listen. This is courtesy Spectrum Sportsnet.
I hear.
Is it just something you figure out to manage, or?
I don't know. No. I mean, talk to the trainers or my trainer and just kind of figure out what's exactly going on. I've been managing it since this summer, honestly, and just trying to do everything before a game, be on the floor, and just kind of just landed directly on the spot that's been killing me. So we'll figure it out.
All right, I'm going to stop it there. That's not good. That's not good at all. That's not good at all. You could just look on his face, and you could look at there's an issue with his heel. So for those, what he said right at the beginning, I think Trudell, right when we clipped in, he was asking what injury, and he said my heel, and didn't expand on it. Said it's been a problem since the summer. He landed on the exact part that's bothering him. That's not good. And the Lakers, being an 82-game season, are going to be very cautious with Anthony Davis, and they're not going to, if he doesn't feel 100%, or not 100%, but if he doesn't feel 80%, then they're going to be very strategic with it, with how they use him. That's not good at all. I didn't know, and I was mentioning this kind of walking in, seeing him on the floor, and there were some possessions where he was kind of limping around and everything else. But what you want from Anthony Davis, your hope is, all right, well, goes to the sidelines, kind of treat whatever it is. That's not an Anthony Davis that said, I'll be fine. That wasn't an Anthony Davis that said, this is not an issue. Something just happened, but a little bit of ice, a little bit of this, and no problem. I don't know if I'm reading this different, if you guys listen to the same thing, or just looking at Anthony Davis during that presser, if there was something there, but that didn't sound good. That didn't look good. His body language didn't look good. His voice didn't sound well. Yeah, that could be a problem. That could be a problem. So we'll keep a lookout here on if there's anything more to it. But Anthony Davis has been, I would argue, the best player in the NBA so far this year. He had another, I think he's leading the NBA right now in scoring. He had 37 points. He had 9 rebounds. He had 4 assists, got to the free throw line 14 times, was 11 of 14 from the free throw line, shot well over 50% from the field, 13 of 23, and played 39 minutes for the Lakers tonight. The only area of his game that you could look at and say he didn't play well on was his three-point shooting. He was 0 for 4. If Anthony Davis misses some time, let's say Anthony Davis missed a couple of games just to kind of make himself feel a little better, get that heel the way he needs to. If he's been dealing with that heel since the summer, then that doesn't sound like that's an injury that's going away today or tomorrow. That doesn't sound like an injury that within a week or 2 weeks, he's 100% now. That's concerning. And if he misses some time, let me paint a picture for Laker fans here real quick. This is not a good picture, so don't be prepared to hear something that's great, because it's not going to be great. Imagine Anthony Davis missing a week and Jackson Hayes has to play in that position. And now imagine that you're asking LeBron to do more and the inconsistencies with some of the other role players so far, which I'll get to in just a second. Imagine if that's the way it's supposed to be is Anthony Davis is fresh and healthy. And if LeBron needs a week off, all right, let's kind of see what that looks like. Still would be obviously a big difference as far as talent goes, but that didn't sound good. Whatever that was from an Anthony Davis front, that didn't sound good at all. Maybe I'm reading it the same way. Maybe I'm not. All right, let me see some of your guys' comments here. No AD, no chance for the Lakers. Guys, it is a kind of a simple one too, right? The way you take the best player off of any team in the NBA. No Jokic, no shot. No Giannis, no shot. No Embiid, you're watching it right now. The team obviously has no shot. Go down the list of all the teams in the NBA. Take away their best player, Anthony Edwards, Kevin Durant. Go down the list. These teams got no shot. But the Lakers also have such a dependency on Anthony Davis on both sides of the floor. They have such a dependency on him. There have been some games so far this year. I remember the game against the Cavs. AD tried to sub out at the end of the first quarter. Cleveland went on a 17-3 run instantly. Like he just subbed out to get a quick breather because that's what every NBA player has to do. And it was a big, and AD still played 39 minutes tonight. So it's not like Anthony Davis was not in the lineup. He was there the entire time. AD or Braun always get injured on a loss. It's cool. All right. I hope it's just on a loss and everything else is good. Same story every year. Same as two-step. Pistons played like it's the 7th game of the championship, and the Lakers are playing like it's 7th game of the regular season. That, David, you're right on. Technically, it is the 7th game of the regular season, but yeah, they from an effort perspective wasn't even close. Wasn't even close. All right. No comment on the TMZ video of Jackson Hayes. Did my show this morning and spent a good amount of time on it. So if you want to go back, you can go to on this channel, the Sliwa Show. I spent a lot of time on it. I'll give you my quick opinion on it, and then we'll keep going. That's an awful look for Jackson Hayes. And I don't care if it happened in 2021. The NBA reinvestigating it, just the mere fact that you have video of it, it's a bad look for him, period, point blank. Like there's no sugarcoating it. People can say whatever they want, but for him to just listening to some of the quotes, watching that video on TMZ, him churning and spitting at his girlfriend. Yeah, let's just say that the way I perceive Jackson Hayes will be different than I perceived him a week ago or whatever the case is. When you have video of something, it does change everything. You think back, it's not the same thing by any stretch of the imagination, but think of anything that's happened and then video shows up. That's a whole new ballgame. So I hope that gives you some of my thoughts of what I think about that. All right, let's talk about some of these other players here real quick. So LeBron had to play 40 minutes tonight for the Lakers. He struggled from the field, 7 of 16 from the field. He was a minus 16 in the plus minus, still had 20 points, 11 assists, 8 rebounds. I mean, finds a way to fill up the box score, did everything he can, but LeBron and AD just have no help right now. They have no real consistent help, efficient help. Guys that they can depend on, guys that can carry the team on stretches. It's basically all on LeBron. First, it's all on AD's shoulder. Then it's on LeBron's shoulder, and then it kind of goes from there. So not a good game for LeBron tonight from a shooting perspective, from an efficiency perspective. It really wasn't actually that bad. I mean, 7 of 16, the world's not going to end. But Lakers dug themselves a hole, and then every time they're trying to come back, guys are going at LeBron when it comes to some of these younger players for the Detroit Pistons. But he played 40 minutes. He had to play 40 minutes tonight. LeBron has to play 40 minutes a month and a half before the guy's about to turn 40. That can't be a good recipe. Let's get into the other guys here real quick. Remember when I kept harping on and I spent all this time talking about how important I thought Rui Hachimura was going to be for the Lakers? If you guys remember that, there was a time where to start the season, I probably was getting annoying by how often I was mentioning the Rui Hachimura piece of it. Here's Rui tonight. This is kind of the fundamental problem with Rui Hachimura. There's some nights I can watch him play really good basketball. He looks confident. He looks consistent. He looks like he can affect the game offensively and defensively. And then there's a lot of games that look like tonight. 2 of 6 from the field, only took 6 shots, hesitant when he gets to the basket. Instead of trying to score, I don't know if he's trying to draw a foul. I see this all the time when this guy goes to the basket. Either he's trying to posterize somebody and he's getting blocked, he's getting rejected, and that could be a couple of the guys from, who was it? Might have been Evan Mobley. It could have been Jared Allen. I forget who it was with Cleveland. You see him try to drive to the basket, and instead of finding a way to avoid the defense, and maybe it's a little, it's getting to the basket, kissing it off glass. I feel like he's trying to get contact to go to the free throw line. Teams are being smart. They're just putting their hands straight up, and I'm not really sure what his game plan is, but Rui's not been good these last couple of games. 8 points, 4 rebounds. That's just not going to get it done. For a player that I know, I look at a lot of these guys and I start looking at their contract. But if you're making $17 million a year, can we get more than 8 and 4 out of you? Let's keep going. D'Angelo Russell. I put out a video this morning that I feel bad about this guy because everywhere he churns, there he is again in the trade conversation. Walker Kessler and this and that. There's some reports out there. Doesn't look like Utah would do it anyways. But D'Lo can't find a home, and he can't find a consistent home. Shot 4 of 14 from the field tonight, 11 points, 8 assists. 8 assists, I love it. I mean, that part is great. Still had 3 turnovers between him and Anthony Davis and Austin Reeves. That's 10 turnovers between those 3 players. Austin Reeves turns the ball over way too much, by the way. I'll get to him in just a second. But D'Lo, 11 points, 8 assists. If you're taking 14 shots and you have 11 points, that's not a good stat line. That's not a good night for you. That's the definition of inefficient. That's the definition of a player that's taking shots, but he's not hitting them. And that obviously comes back to hurt your team. So D'Angelo Russell, 11 points. And then Austin Reeves, it took him 17 shots to score 17 points. He had 4 turnovers. They're going at him on the defensive side, or on the offensive side. Pistons, I'm noticing this. I know Donovan Mitchell a couple of times when they were playing Cleveland. Teams are basically saying, if we got Austin Reeves on us, we're going right at this dude, and there's nothing to do. And for Austin Reeves, the thing that sucks with Reeves, it's not an effort thing. It's just he can't stand in front of these guys. He can't stay in front of these guys. But Austin Reeves, 3 of 10 from the three-point line, played 39 minutes, 7 of 17 from the field, 4 turnovers for him and 17 points. So basically, the only person that was efficient tonight was Anthony Davis. Everybody else was shooting well below 50%, had their struggles. And that's another tough loss for the Lakers against the Pistons team that really is going to be a lottery team that's not going to be competing. Maybe at best, like I said, February or March, they're in the mix. They're a few games out of one of those playing spots. But I don't know how really the Eastern Conference is going to shape up. But certainly not a good look for the Lakers. All right, let's get back to some of your guys' comments here. Zach LaVine, come on down. I feel like that dude's been traded 9 times. It's all chat, but none of it actually happens. Rui showed up the last minute for a quick 3, like the kid showing up the last 5 minutes of class aside. Can I tell you something funny? That's actually pretty funny because when that was happening, I saw him just no hesitation, just walk into that 3 and hit it with a hand in his face. I'm like, Rui, now you want to do this? I guess all the pressure was off. I guess he literally didn't have anything to worry about. This dude stepped into a 3 like it was practice. I'm like, but the game's over. The game's over. Why didn't Rui Hachimura play tonight? You're right. You're right. He didn't play. Let's see what else we got here. Yeah, I'm starting to see this a little bit too. Time to break LeBron and AD era. A week ago, by the way, everyone was talking about what a start. So I think we got to pump the brake a little bit. Pump the brakes here a little bit. All right, let's see what else we got here. Everybody expects too much from the Lakers. They're a 7 seed. Yeah, could I simplify this here real quick? Maybe it's just the same old Lakers. Maybe the team that we've watched over the last couple of years who are basically just fighting for a playing team. Maybe that's the team it's going to be unless, obviously a big trade is made or unless something goes down. Maybe that's just exactly who this team is. I do want to see something here. I want to look at the standings for a quick second. I got a couple NBA scores that I want to show, but Lakers with this loss 4-3. So 5th in the Western Conference. They got Memphis coming up next. That Memphis game is going to be a tough game. I'm not even 100% sure. I'll look at that in a second and just see who Memphis has played. But my concern has more to do with the fact that we're at this stage of the season. Anthony Davis is already dealing with something, and the Lakers, from a talent perspective and a bench perspective, are already struggling. That would be more my concern. It's not if we're sitting here right now and it's like, hey, look how great this looks. D'Lo looks like he's taken another step. Rui's consistent. Reeves is making all the right decisions. Max Christie feels like he's taken another step. Damn, Gabe Vincent is a really good player that the Lakers need when he comes in off the bench. Dalton Knecht is getting some opportunities. Instead, you're really not talking about any of these guys on a consistent basis unless it's something negative. At least that's how I feel. All right, couple things to keep in mind here. Slee, we're a playing team 3rd year in a row. Yep, same old Lakers. I know that's how a lot of people feel. Hey, Lakers are a play-in tournament champ team. Don't say that, please. Please. I had to be there for that banner ceremony. I had to be there when all that was going on. I'm like, what is happening here? Why is that banner going up with that real estate? There's Hall of Famers up there that had their jerseys retired. And then there's NBA championships that were hard fought by some of the greatest players to ever play the game. We're putting a play-in tournament banner in there. I had to be there for that. I might even still have a shirt. I think they gave out shirts that day. Were playing tournament shirts. You believe that? I probably got rid of it. All right. Let me see. Let me check a couple things out here. So the next game for the Lakers, just to kind of, so everybody has an idea, will be the final game for the Lakers on this 5-game road trip, and then they're going to come back home. But it is going to be the Memphis Grizzlies, who've actually kind of got off to an okay start. Let's see what some of their wins and losses. So Memphis right now is sitting at 4-4 on the season. Here are their wins. They beat the Jazz. They beat the Magic. They beat Milwaukee. They beat Philly. So to be honest with you, they don't really have any impressive wins. The Bucks, by the way, did I see this right? Are they 1-6? Oh, my gosh. We'll get into that in a second when I go through some of the scores in the NBA. But let me just do this real quick. By the way, did you guys see that story, too, about Jason Tatum wanting to be a Laker? There's another side story for everybody. I'll spend more time on that tomorrow when I'm doing my show in the morning. For those who don't know, I'm doing a show on YouTube at 8 a.m. in the morning, 8 a.m. to 9 a.m., Monday through Friday. So I'll still do the postgame show, do all my Laker conversation. This is kind of the beast of the channel is the postgame show, and I enjoy doing it. I love doing it. But I'm also doing a Monday through Friday show starting at 8 a.m. And that one is more kind of focused on SoCal sports, a lot of LA-centric conversation that goes on in that show. I was, obviously in LA covering the Lakers and covering really all the teams for a number of years. So I'm trying to continue doing that. But I'll get more into that Tatum stuff tomorrow if you guys want to hang out for that. All right, so Memphis's losses, Houston, Chicago, and Brooklyn twice. Explain that one to me. It looks like just based on the schedule here, it's a winnable game against Memphis. Are they missing guys? Jaren Jackson's in there. Ja Morant is there. Yeah, I don't see. There's some guys. Yeah, they're definitely missing some players. Definitely missing some players. So looks like it could be potentially a winnable game against the Memphis Grizzlies. But the way the Lakers are playing, they're certainly, if they could lose to the Pistons, and I keep going at the Pistons. I mean, Pistons were impressive. They really were. By the way, I don't know too much about him, but Jaden Ivey, how smooth is that player too? 26 for them, 10 of 16 from the field. Cade Cunningham, I mean, 17, 11, and 11. How old is Cade Cunningham? This dude is doing all this. He's 23 years old, 17, 11, and 11. And when they needed some big buckets, he said, yeah, go ahead and just give me the ball and I'll take care of it from here. That dude's impressive. Very, very impressive. All right, some scores around the NBA just to kind of get everybody up to date here. Kings are down 3. I'm just trying to kind of see some of these Western Conference teams. Knicks and the Rockets are playing right now. Rockets are up 5 in the third quarter. Timberwolves will beat the Hornets. Thunder 6-0. They're playing Orlando. They're about to be 7-0. That team's a problem. Pelicans are 3-4. Mavericks are 4-2. Nuggets are down against the Raptors. So pretty much it's a full slate of games in the NBA. So something to keep in mind on that front. All right, let's take a look at some of your comments here, and then we'll keep going. Ivy punked Reeves. Listen, these dudes were looking at Austin Reeves like we're playing pickup ball and I was guarding him. We should not have the same eye contact that they would look at me and they're looking the same way at Reeves. That's not fair. That's not fair. If AD doesn't play, we're definitely losing. Let me tell you this. It'd be interesting how the Lakers kind of treat this with Anthony Davis. You guys know this. They're gonna be so cautious on AD. They're going to be so cautious on AD. They have to. It's an 82-game season, and if the guy is saying, for those who are just tuning in right now, AD said he's been dealing with his ankle. I thought he said his heel since the summer. I'm listening to something from Dan Weike here. Landed right on the spot. That's been killing him. So that's not good news for Anthony Davis. That's not good news for the Lakers. So if he misses some time, if somebody wants to go ahead and tell me how the hell this Lakers team is going to go get W's in the NBA if Anthony Davis is not there. Yeah, I don't have an answer for that. Muse, off topic, but while we're at it, Lincoln Riley's got to go as well. I don't think he's going to go. I don't think Lincoln Riley's going to go. I think they're going to hold him around for at least another year. I'm working on getting an SC guy, somebody who covers SC on my morning show, so we'll talk more about that then. Get a couple more of these here, and then we'll this might be the only solution. Can Ohtani play 3/4 for us, please? That might be the only solution. You know what's not impressive about Ohtani? Okay, yeah, that's fine. He can go 50 and 50 in a season. All right, that's fine. He's got, one of the best arms in baseball, and will come back next year and literally be probably a Cy Young candidate. But you know what doesn't impress me about Ohtani? I haven't heard from anybody of what kind of jumper he has from 22 feet out. I haven't seen Ohtani with a Euro step, kiss off the glass finger roll. I haven't seen that. So what's so impressive about Ohtani? If Ohtani can't grab you 6 to 8 rebounds a night and give you 15 to 17 points a night, what's all this pub about Ohtani? He's overrated, if you ask me. Grab your coffee, everybody. I don't got coffee. Late at night, I can't do too much coffee. Well, I got tea here. It was steaming earlier. You should have seen it. Just steam everywhere. It was like a fog machine in here. Let's see what else we got here. 100%. 100%, Brandon. I used to slap the floor. And I'd pick up guys full court. And then our coach would just be like, what are you doing, bro? I'm like, I don't know. I saw Duke do it one time. So I feel like I need to do it too. Duke was playing North Carolina, so I was trying to bring that energy to Kennedy Recreation Center in El Cajon. That's what I was trying to do. Look, people agree with me. Ohtani is a wash. What overrated. Guy can't even hit a jump shot off the glass. All right. I think we got most everything here. Okay, a couple of things here that I'm gonna promote real quick, and then we're gonna get out of here. So after the Lakers take on the Memphis Grizzlies, by the way, I like this comment here. Honeymoon period done. You're not wrong there. The JJ Redick piece of this. Listen, your players got to perform as well. And right now, the Lakers, there just seems to be a lack of talent, but that's up to your head coach to figure it out. I mean, obviously, that's also on the front office and everything else. But that honeymoon period that you're talking about is 100% right. Here's what the Lakers need right now. They need to try to find a way to beat the Memphis Grizzlies. And if they can't beat Memphis, they're going to go 1-4 on this road trip. And to start the season out 3-0 against 3 pretty good teams. Minnesota, Sacramento, Phoenix. To start out 3-0 and then follow that up with 1-4 with your only win against the Toronto Raptors, damn, that would put a bad taste in everybody's mouth. Let's see what happens. But that next game is coming up on Wednesday, so keep that one in mind. Once that game is done, you get a little home cooking for 3 games. You're playing a Philly team. I don't know how healthy they'll be by the time Friday's game comes along. With our luck, everybody will be available. You got Philly, you got Toronto, and you got Memphis. You got 3 straight games at home. It seems like some winnable games, but probably a lot of this is just going to come down to what's Anthony Davis, how's he feeling, how effective is he, and if he's not effective and he's not the Anthony Davis that we need, then that would be different. So we'll see what eventually happens. Oh, yeah, by the way, that's a good point. Somebody's saying here, Otani, his wife was, I think, a professional basketball player. You know what? Now that I think about it, yeah, he probably comes off a screen and hits 24-footers like nothing. That probably happens as well. All right, my people, I appreciate you guys hanging out. 45 minutes, that's a lot. 45 minutes for a Lakers Pistons on November 4th. Come on now. Does that seem like a lot right there? I'm working overtime here. I appreciate you guys hanging out. If you guys are yet to subscribe to this channel, please subscribe to the channel. I would appreciate it. I'm back on tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. Sammy Long is going to join me tomorrow. Sammy, who's been doing these pre-videos, has been doing a phenomenal job kind of getting us ready for games. He'll be on. We'll talk a little bit of everything, but obviously talk Lakers basketball as well. Wish you guys a good rest of your night. Hope you guys have a good rest of your evening. And we will get back with you guys tomorrow morning. Thanks, Laker fans. Appreciate it.